Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm your host, Midnight Vesper, and if you're new to the show, here's how this works. For more current/digital games, we'll be using digital storms like Steam, GOG, Itch.io, Ubisoft, Epic, etc. to look at the list/MSRP price. For retro games, we'll be using various price charting websites and looking at the loose price of the game. We do not count any sales or discounts as they vary from time of purchase. Couple announcements real fast. Summer Games Done Quick 2022 on-site volunteer applications are open from now until April 20th. So if you're interested in becoming a Camera Ops volunteer or volunteer for one of the other almost as fun positions, you can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And if you're watching us on YouTube, once again, hello YouTube. You can go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Of course, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits all help support our weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. And of course, Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Use the !highlights command to learn more about our highlights. And finally, if you have any ideas for your own show or one-off event, feel free to go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit your ideas. For today's show on The Bargain Bin, we're going to be focusing on two things: turtles and tombs. While we're going to see swords in a moment, it's safe to say we may see them in the second game of the evening, which will be the 2013 version of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on the PlayStation 5. But first, we're going to turn to our heroes in our half shell for that 1989 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles classic game on the NES ran by Stuff is Stuff. So, if Stuff is in fact Stuff, what are we going to see in this particular run, Stuff?
Hey, so we're definitely going to see stuff. We'll see things, maybe some abstract concepts, but the biggest thing we're going to see is fun. So yes, today we're going to be running TMNT on the NES. It's going to be any percent. There are a couple things I want to go over before we get into it. There are 3 different jump types for the turtles. There's a small jump, a medium jump, and a large jump. This run primarily revolves around Donatello. The other turtles are involved, but they're pretty much just for taking damage and death abuse. The reason being, Donatello does the most damage out of all the turtles. All of the turtles get a boost in damage when they're at 4 health or lower, but Donatello for sure does the most. The other thing being his attack is the longest. When his attack animation starts, it actually starts behind him, then in front of him, and when it ends, it's both in front and behind him. There's a strat called the gondola, and how that works is if you're holding the jump button while you're walking, you can do a downward attack and keep forward momentum. This can be done with Donatello or Leonardo. Another strat that we're going to use is the conveyor belt boost, and that's if you're walking on a conveyor belt in the direction of the arrows, you go neutral on the D-pad, and on the very next frame, you hit jump. It's important to not accidentally hit forward or back while you're in the boost animation because it'll kill your boost if you do, but you can do up or down attacks during this. The next thing are clips. There's 2 different types of clips. There's platform clips and there's out of bounds clips. Platform clips and out of bounds are both kind of done the same way. You want to get your sprite into the terrain. By pressing your turtle into the terrain, you can clip onto ledges. You can do this by walking directly under things, or you can do it from angles, which is a little more difficult. It's a little bit riskier, but it is faster. Out of bounds clips are the same, but you clip out of the bounds, hence the name, and then you have to press jump at a particular time to get back out of the ground. Other things are damage transfers, and what that does is when you attack, you can use the sub-weapon damage on your regular attack. So what you do is you'll attack and then switch on your sub-weapon, and the game will register as your sub-weapon being active. It's most important to do this with single shurikens and the scrolls because they do the most damage. The other thing is the Technodrome location. It can be in one of 3 locations. There's a 50% chance of it being in hole 3, which is the hardest. We always check hole 1 first. There's a 25% chance of hole 1 or hole 2. There are things you can do to try to weigh the odds in your favor to get a hole 1, but there's no guarantee in manipulating a hole 1. And it has to do with when you press start on the title screen. And the last thing you need to know about turtles is turtles knows when you're trying to show people turtle stuff, and anything that can happen will happen. So ready for things to go sideways, but we're gonna have a fun time. So let me reset. We'll do 3, 2, 1, and go.
Before we get in, I just want to point out how accurate Donatello's weapons is in the intro, that it's bow, B-O.
Yes, so good. Yes. It's the little things. All right, first we're gonna drop in. Here we're gonna do our first gondola. Then we'll gondola, do a large jump, switch to Dawn. Gotta poke a piggy with a stick. All right, gotta poke a piggy. So we're gonna push ourselves into Bebop's body to take damage to get our health down to 4. This is so when we run into mini bosses, we can kill them more quickly. One of the interesting things about this game is, depending on how many enemies you kill, you'll get different weapon sets. So if I kill too many enemies, this chainsaw enemy would have been a frog. And the frog enemy takes 3 hits to kill. So now we're gonna go to Rocksteady's basement. That's a frame perfect jump. And then we conveyor belt boost and climb. This Whitman here loves the troll, so we're gonna play it safe. Look at that, he tried to troll me, of course. See, he knows. Like, oh, you're showing people stuff. Such a turd. No, tried to April hop, took some unnecessary damage. Let's go. Do-do-do-do-kaka. All right, now it's time for the damn house. We'll probably get safety pizza.
So good.
Let us go. So this is going to be our first instance of a platform clip. And we missed it. Of course. Let's go. All right, assuming we live, we will get safety pizza. Let's go. So the goal is to kill as many things as possible down there so that we can get a sub-weapon drop upstairs. No sub-weapon drop.
I feel like all pizza is kind of safety pizza in its own right.
Yeah, unless it was left out for too long.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee clip. Shout out to Noise Police. I don't trust pizza at a certain point. Now we're gonna go for the cowabunga. No, we missed it. Cowabunga clip. Considered one of the hardest clips in the game because you have to do it from an angle. Pit of shame and go. And next up is pretty much the level that taught most kids about what anxiety is. We have the dam. One of the things about the dam is there are currents in the dam, and the goal is to keep the current so you can swim more quickly. Another thing is when you defuse bombs, you want to defuse bombs from the center if possible, because if you don't, the game has to do like an animation to put you at the center so that you can defuse it. And now poo in your shoe, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yes, I do. Poo in your shoe, and you gotta do the poo in your shoe song, otherwise the boosts don't work. Up we go. Do-do, caca. What can you do? All right, so this is one of the harder boosts right here. To keep this boost is kind of a pain. See, I lost it. And now poo in your shoe, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Wait, yes I do. Poo in your shoe. All right. This is fine. And I think one of the reasons the dam was so difficult as a kid is, one, we didn't know where to go. But also as a kid, I didn't realize you could switch turtles. I would try to do this section as a single turtle. And if anybody's done that, they've heard the terrifying music that comes when you're running out of time.
I never knew you could switch turtles until just this moment.
Yeah, right? See? Exactly.
That makes this level a little bit easier.
So much easier. All right, so now we get a little cutscene break. This is a perfect opportunity for everybody to stretch their wrists, but it's also, as far as I know, the world's first FaceTime video where Shredder FaceTimes the turtles to let him know that he has Splinter. Gotta
They
stretch.
had iPhones back in the late 80s.
No, this is a CRT FaceTime. This is an early prototype.
Oh.
This was what Steve Jobs. This is what caused him to drop out. He's like, you know what? I got this. I made it out of CRT. We can make these smaller.
Maybe it's just a faceplate on an early iPhone.
My
Should they
CRT
make those
case.
like the CRT version, you know?
They probably should. If not, maybe you just messed up. You just gave away your $1 million idea.
Oh no!
Somebody make those. All right. So now we need to get missiles. This is fine. And now we'll kill all the space fleas and some of their balloon friends. So the goal is to force a sub-weapon drop there. Every 25 kills, there's a possibility of a sub-weapon drop, but they only drop if you kill an enemy on an even frame. If you kill an enemy on an odd frame, you will not get a sub-weapon drop. Get up there. All right, we got missiles. Now we're gonna death abuse. And get to Dawn. The driving section is probably one of the hardest sections in the game to do perfect. It's a lot of pixel perfect movement. All right. Here we go, we're driving the van, let's have some fun. Wish me luck, I need all the blessings on this run. So we'll drive all around this town, running over the Foot Clan and shooting them down. That jerk Shredder took Master Splinter, oh no. Guess we'll have to kill Mecha Turtle, that will show that you can't ruin our day, no matter how many obstacles you throw in our way. All right, now we're gonna try to get a booty scooty. A booty scooty, shout out to Evil Elf. A booty scooty is when you turn one frame to the left and then one frame up.
I have to ask, did you make those up on the spot? Have you been rehearsing that song?
Oh, I've been singing that song for months. I've been playing this game for 10 months now.
I'm applauding. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you. It's hard not to when you play a game a ton of times. Then jump here. And then you start to use your song as cues. You're like, oh, if I sing this right, I can, I now have audio cues from my own mouth hole. Let's go. So these little pits you can walk over. I like to jump them just because it's swaggy. Now we got hot drippings and sloppy droppings. The dynamic duo. Whee! All right, so the goal now, since I don't have a sub-weapon, is to try to force a sub-weapon drop. I'd like to get single shurikens for Mecha Turtle just so I can do more damage to him. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Here's Angry Jesse, because he loves to fly at your face. Yeah, there's a lot of named enemies in this game. No, so the hope is that we get a sub-weapon drop there, but no sub-weapon. So one of the neat things is the first form, only the body hurts you. So as long as their sword hits you, you don't take damage, but the body will hurt you. And that was the Mecha Turtle. Now, of course, we're gonna chase a helicopter in a blimp, because 1989, logic. We'll get there eventually. It does look like a rocket blimp, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So since this game really centers around pizza being health, I have to ask, what is your pizza of choice?
Damn, you threw me to the gauntlet, huh? Knowing how people feel about pineapple on pizza, I still unapologetically choose pepperoni and pineapple.
Oh.
It's a very polarizing thing.
I'm just gonna wait for chat.
So these white pillars here, you jump over and land on the other side. It's a free time save, because if you don't, you can see the screen has to scroll and push me into the position to throw the actual rope. So it's a free time save to just hop over it and wiggle. No happy hops. Here's our out of bounds clip. It's a forward medium jump to instant neutral. If you don't go neutral, you will not clip through. You'll land on the same level that you were at. Oh, Whitman would. The Whitman enemies love to ruin your run. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they're in here. All right, let's medium jump about it. Medium jump. And then we do an up attack and jump so we can kill those for lag. It's just a little lag reduction. Because anytime the boomerangs are on screen, they create a lot of lag. So removing things from screen is a good call. All right, now we're gonna kill two. Oop, I didn't. Let's kill that one then. Big jump. I'm having fun.
And that's good.
Yay! I'm having a fun time.
By the way, a lot of people in chat are agreeing about pineapples.
Yes, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I knew I loved y'all. All right, now the hate hole. So this hole is a run killer. And that's why. Perfect example. Whitman loves to throw boomerangs at your face. It's just what he does. Let's go. Otherwise, decent hole. No wiggle. We wiggled. I got scared. Let's go. Almost got a bug in the butt cheeks. And go. All right, let's see. Fireworks.
These bosses going down that fast just like it hurts my like childhood memory.
the mini
Struggling
bosses.
so hard as a kid.
And you have to kill those. You can't. The mini bosses have to be killed, or you can't scroll the screen anymore. All right. No, I jumped early. See if we no. All right. There's a clip there, but I missed it. It's very specific, and you have to keep your sub pixels just right to get it. Now we're gonna conveyor belt boost. Throw a scroll and go. The fire is a one-hit kill. Not good. Drop, and we swing to kill both those and switch to Mikey because we don't want to accidentally get a sub weapon drop and lose our scrolls. And that's a good drop. So we got to drop as Mikey so we didn't have to worry about losing our scrolls as Dawn. And go. This is fine. We're gonna run into this turret and then swing. Conveyor belt boost. We did a damage transfer downward during the boost to kill the Whitman. And we go. So now we're at the sarcophagus walls. These are also one-hit kills, which is very rude. Don't try to get that pizza. If anybody tells you they got that pizza, they're probably also going to tell you that their uncle works for Nintendo and they got this game early.
I mean, it is pizza just there. I can't say no to pizza.
And so that trick on the mouser is called the nudie pause. If you pause the game at the right time when the turtle's knee goes up, you can start damaging the turtle or the mouser right away.
Wow.
If you miss it, there are other backups, but that's the ideal. And then you use damage transfers with the scroll to take the mouser out. But you're not wrong. I would be tempted by pizza too, even if my impending doom was reliant on whether or not I was able to get it. All right, now we're gonna hold check.
I did see that I did see our interview producer Richard decided to throw a poll out there for pineapple on pizza, and 58% said yes.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so there's our first full out of bounds clip. 58% of you. That's what's up. So no hole one, so we SOTF. Shout out to Evil Elf. There we go. Death Abuse out of the hole. Like I said, there's 50% chance you end up in hole 3. If you get a game over, then the game automatically puts the Technodrome in hole 3. Hole 3 is definitely the most difficult too. Oh, you would. Trolley-polies. I call these trolley-polies because they love to troll. They just want to wreck your life.
That's a great name for them.
They're so rude. And we mash, mash, mash. Oh, you would. You would. And no hole 2. SOTF. And we go. It would be hole 3. Because Turtles knows when you're trying to show stuff. So the good thing is you get to see all the holes. Show holes. Let's go. We're going to take it slow in hole 3. It is the hate hole. For real. Oh, evil Sonic. Get over here. Come on.
Sonic.
They are.
That be Knuckles?
Knuckles was probably nicer. He's an echidna, right? What even is an echidna? I honestly have no idea. An echidna is just Knuckles to me. Other than that, I have no idea. Is it an echidna? I don't know.
I was about to ask, is it echidna or echidna? I actually don't know the real answer to that.
I have no idea.
Chat can help.
Oof. This game's too hard. All right. Just. Okay, hole 3.
Since you're playing as Donatello, we could probably have Donatello. He was the computer one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he does machines, which is whatever that means. All right. Oh no, wasted a scroll. This is fine. So you only need to kill the first turret. And then as long as you keep moving around, the second turret can't get aim. It'll only fire at you when it's able to aim fully at you. And then you want to keep that lower foot soldier alive because if you kill him, another foot soldier will come out and you don't know where they're going to end up. It's really annoying.
Everyone in chat is saying echidna.
Yeah, echidna. All right. That was my instinct, but I don't know. So we large jump, and there are 2 space enemies, so it's going to be a taco hallway. A taco hallway is when there's lots of enemies. Shout out to Taco Drop. Oh, that's a very taco hallway. Ooh, clip first try. So there's a 2-frame window to get out of the ground. We didn't do it. So we'll wait for the ducks. Then we got Space Arcus. Say hello to Space Arcus. He's guarding his hoo-ah. What a good Space Arcus. Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Damage transfer. Hop about it. And so I want to try to force a weapon drop I can see. Look at all the lag.
I have to say that's kind of the beauty of, honestly, like these type of games, that they push the limits of it so much that the frames just cause all that lag.
Yeah, it's just melting. Hop about it. Gondola. Ooh, we got the goose.
So what is the goose?
The goose is when you gondola under that duck and don't kill it. If you do kill it with the gondola, then it's called the swan.
Oh.
Just a silly strat. All right, then we do a little stuffer buffer and go. And now we fuzzy elf or die. And there it is. That is TMNT. I split on this shredder death. It's so ingrained in my body. So yeah, that's TMNT for the NES. I am finishing up a tutorial for this game, so if there are people who are interested in learning this game, the tutorial will be out soon. Yeah, shout out to Skunky48, Evil Elfo, Stormcrow, just the whole TMNT community. They're just amazing humans, and without them, I would not know anything about this game. So don't follow me, go follow my friends. I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate that, yeah. So again, following the community and stuff like that, is if they were interested, maybe they were like, where, since you said you were working on finishing up a guide, where would individuals go to find more information about that?
The TMNT Discord would be the best. I have a personal Discord that is on the About section in my page, and I'll be definitely updating there. And then I have a YouTube that I'll be posting it to, which is Stuff is Stuff, all one word. And so I'm hoping by next week it'll be finished. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it.
All right. And if anyone wanted to follow you as a runner?
Yeah, just Twitch, stuff_is_stuff. I'm pretty much just there in Discord. That's it. I tend to involve myself in too many projects to do anything other than this. Yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. This is such an awesome platform, and it's just, I can't say enough nice things about how well everything's put together.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Any other final words you'd like to say?
I mean, I say it every day. The one thing that you can never get back is your time, and the fact that you would decide to spend your time with me, I just can't say thank you enough. I appreciate y'all. Nothing but love. Spread love and positivity. Let's go.
Yeah. And I did see it in chat, so this is not my concept, but I appreciate stuff showing stuff today.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed the stuff and some of the things.
But we're not done. We're not done showing stuff.
Yes, Tomb Raider. Let's go.
We got the 2013 Tomb Raider definitive edition coming up here in just a little bit. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a small break to get all that set up, but now's a great time to get up, stretch, get some water, hydrate, everything else along those lines. Stay tuned while we come back with Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Welcome back to the Bargain Bin, show about speedrunning games all around $20. Just to cover a quick reminder, Summer Games Done Quick 2022 on-site volunteer applications are open from now until April 20th. So if you're interested in becoming, let's say, a camera ops volunteer, or if you want to volunteer for some of the other ones, almost as fun as a camera ops. I think a camera op is really fun. If you want to, you can always go to gamesdonequick.com for more information on volunteering. And of course, if you have any ideas of your own for some one-off events or your own show on the GDQ Hotfix, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit your ideas. And now I cannot wait for this. We got Tomb Raider, the definitive edition on the PS5 with Satori Earth. I cannot wait for this one. How are you, Satori?
I'm doing well. Yes, I'm Satori. Jay is also fine from chat. This is Tomb Raider, not to be confused with the game Tomb Raider or the movie Tomb Raider. This is Tomb Raider. So now that we got that clarified, let's get on into it. Time will start when I select the difficulty here in 3, 2, 1. All right, so I'm playing the Definitive Edition, which was a slight remaster that was done for the PS4 and Xbox One. Didn't really change much in the game. All it is just like a little bit of a graphical facelift. So Lara looks a little bit more in line with how she ends up looking for Rise and Shadow. And, you know, some of the environment in that has slightly brought up textures. The other benefit of which is for us console players, the game no longer runs at 30 FPS. We actually get the benefit of 60. Other than that, fairly identical game. So the game opens up. We got a little bit of dramatic cutscene going on here. Lara demonstrating her favorite pastime, which is screaming her friends' names. It is recurring throughout all of the Survivor games. Starting out on her adventure, and they end up getting into a storm, and their ship gets destroyed, and everyone gets separated. Lara gets knocked out, and we find ourselves, you know, in a precarious situation to start off here. All right. So the intro is pretty straightforward. We're not going to be doing anything too crazy. I mean, this is glitchless, so a lot of the gameplay is going to be, you know, kind of what's intended, just done optimally. We got a couple skips though, so we'll keep it a little more interesting than just that. All right. So Lara's regained consciousness, and yeah. We're gonna swing around here and try to get ourselves free. Should be a good burn? Yes, okay. There's always a chance that there's a little bit of RNG to the physics there, that body bag will like swing the wrong direction. So once Lara starts burning here, she's gonna demonstrate. If you watch her feet, she has 4 feet. Little known fact about Lara Croft.
Did not know that.
Yeah, she has 4 feet.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen, play the game since seen the movie, so
yeah.
In my defense.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And then she gets impaled, which for some reason was a favorite thing to do to video game protagonists in 2013. I don't know, we got this, we got Joel from The Last of Us, and even the Deadpool game that came out in 2013 with Nolan North there. Deadpool gets impaled on a piece of rebar in that game. I don't know what it was about 2013 and video game devs, but they just felt, hey, we've got a protagonist, they should probably fall on a piece of rebar. And we get to see those, well, we don't get to see them. We get to hear those 4 feet in the Shadowrun too. There's one spot where we get a little head of where the game expects it, and we get a little bit of an audio bug, and the sound effect from Lara's feet actually double up. So you get to actually get evidence of those 4 feet yet again in the series. And it helps explain like her inability to cooperate on jumps sometimes. Alright, so some basic puzzle solving. The game's basically just teaching you some simple mechanics right here, as is the case with intros. We got a super helpful gentleman here that's gonna grab us by the ankles because, that's helpful.
That was close. Oh shit, that was close.
And the best thing to do for an open wound in your abdomen is to tread through some dirty, stagnant water. Lara's gonna stop multiple times just to taunt speedrunners. She even has the line of just keep going here. Right as she does one of the stops, it's like, sure, yeah, just keep going, Lara. Alright, our first our puzzle, quote unquote, of the game.
What contraption is this?
Not really, but a little bit of problem solving that's going to be thematic throughout this Survivor timeline series of physics-based puzzles. So I got decent RNG on these crates. These crates are a little bit of RNG. I'm going to give them a bit of a push, and also hope that we get good physics RNG because they can bounce out of here. I have actually, when I've been doing a world record grind, lost a run because the only crate I had on the platform bounced out of the cage. And it's like an additional 20 seconds added to an intro that doesn't have a lot going on to go back and get another one. All right, we're gonna go to the left here, hopefully get Lara out of the water and jump. No jump. Small time save if you do, but not a big deal if she doesn't give us the jump there. Some dramatic set piece action, and we're gonna run back into our helpful gentleman. Hopefully get some clean jumps from Lara. Of course I would have that happen in a marathon. All right. Lara, are we going to cooperate with me? Please. See, here I was thinking the problem I would have is these. Yeah, the stumbles and grabs where I don't get a clean jump on the platform. But no, you just wanted to jump right past the platform. All right. Here's this guy again. Super helpful. And he's just going to hold that rock for us for the rest of the game.
Well, at least he's doing a good thing, holding a rock.
Oh yeah, very helpful.
Yeah.
He's like a reverse paperweight. And thankfully, this is the only time in the entire game that this mechanic is used. I definitely give the devs credit. It's the dramatic opening sequence in that. You want to make it more immersive and panicked. So yeah, I'm fine with it being used here, but if they repeated this mechanic multiple times throughout the game, it would get old quick. All right, and that is the intro. So we're gonna have, unfortunately, a long, dramatic camera pan to the title card and everything.
I do enjoy how gaming has definitely put that cinematic appeal in there to where instead of having just opening cards with a screen title and then the game, it's now kind of put into the game. So you have to go through this level and then you get this and then you get the title screen. I like that.
I actually do too. I like that little bit of build up of like you get yourself going into the story and immersed into the world through the prologue, and then it's like you're in this game. Here it is. All right. Oh, go ahead. I
also really appreciate how Laura was just looking at the logo, as though it was there.
She kind of does, doesn't she? I never actually thought about that. I split as the logo finishes off, so I'm usually more focused on that. It's like, okay, and Tomb Raider. And we got a nice, dramatic scene here. Fun fact, she can't die here. I can close my eyes for this. There's nothing happening there. All right, so our first little reload check. Actually, no, we did one earlier on, and I never mentioned it. But a reload checkpoint, we do those a couple times. They just skip some animations, so we don't have to watch Lara collect herself and look back there. We did it earlier after she pulled the rebar out. It just skips the whole dramatic of her composing herself and standing up slowly. So we'll do those several times throughout the game, and it's pretty much always going to be for the exact same reason. It's just going to skip a long animation of her just collecting herself after a fall or something of that sort. So again, a little tutorial on some climbing prompts. We go through them quick enough that you don't really get to see them, but there's a save and grab mechanic where you have to press square within a certain time frame, but we press it pretty much immediately, so we just don't have to watch the animation of her dangling by one hand. Alright, so this cutscene, Lara comes up on some of her friend's gear. She ends up getting her friend Sam's camcorder and a little walkie-talkie. And
that falling animation looked harsh.
Yeah. And keep in mind, she's just still nursing a wound from having a piece of rebar right through her stomach, so yeah. So here she finds a campfire and ends up going through Sam's video, and it just gives you a little bit more backstory on what they're up to, looking for the lost island of Yamatai. So, introduces some of the side characters and just sets up the plot of why they're here. Because in the intro scenes, we just basically get a dramatic boat crash, and that's all the setup we really get. All right, so we're gonna get our first weapon here, which is going to be the iconic bow for the Survivor timeline. Usually get the good RNG there. That guy can be swung a little away from you, and you can't grab him fast.
You can have the best.
Oh no, we're not gonna get deer shot on the first try. I don't know how I didn't get a proper stun on him there. All right, there we go. Timing on that's a little tricky. It starts moving pretty fast, and the game defaults your reticle way off to the side. So rather than go chase the deer, we can just shoot it right away there. So we're supposed to do that to introduce the whole idea of her being a survivor. The whole animal mechanic isn't really that important to the game, but we return to the fire. The game forces us to buy our first skill point. We're going to buy advanced salvaging, I believe is the actual name in game of the skill. And we're only going to use it coming up right away once, and really is not going to play a role for the rest of the game. But it is going to make this section 2 sections from now, kind of, a little quicker. So again, we got a little cutscene after that. Lara finally gets hold of someone on the radio, and it's her dad's friend, Roth, from the crew. And he gives her a little bit of a pep talk to just keep going, because this is meant to be like Lara's very first adventure. So
This is insane.
these games are meant to be a prequel, basically, to anything else that was done with the titles prior in the 90s and early 2000s. So she's very green at this point. She's never really gone out other than just like some very basic digs with her dad and that. She's never gone out like full out adventuring and trying to find anything crazy. So to be doing that and then ending up going as disastrous as it has is a little bit of a shell shock for her. So we're gonna do a couple little optimizing of movements there. There's certain times in the game where her jumps are going to be a little short. There's other times where she won't be able to roll well, things like that. So we're gonna use a few of the in-game mechanics to move a little quicker there. So right there I did a couple shoulder shoves, which just pushes her forward faster than any other movement I'm able to do there, because the game's kind of intending you to be going through a very slow walk. So we just had a cutscene with Sam, and she met some stranger, a weird friendly gentleman named Matthias, who's very enthralled by Sam's tales of Queen Himiko and the lost island of Yamatai. Lara falls asleep and they disappear. And Lara goes out to try and find them and steps immediately into a bear trap and gets ambushed by a bunch of wolves. As you probably could tell by me talking through all that, not really that threatening of a section. Those wolves have consistent spawn points, so you basically can just sit there and wait for each one to spawn in. But here's where the advanced salvaging comes into play. We're going to shortly need 50 salvage to upgrade an axe. So the advanced salvaging makes it so we don't have to run around this entire area collecting a ton of salvage. We can just hit 3 crates and we're already at 60 because we get increased salvage from each source. Normally you would have to collect 5 of those.
So I did have a question that I noticed earlier.
Let's see if I can fix this.
So I know when you were at the fire, you were doing like inventory and everything like that. Is that like a place, like a save point as well?
Yes,
Much.
well, there's auto save feature in the game, so the game's constantly saving on itself, and you can abandon the game at any point casually and be fine about your save state. And the game will also, when it comes to all the collectibles within the game, save on each collectible. So if you die shortly after picking something up, generally the game is going to remember that you did collect that collectible, and you're not going to have to backtrack to get it again. But the campfires serve as points where you can buy your skills, you can upgrade weapons, you can change outfits on Lara, which don't really do anything except cosmetic in this game. They do have some gameplay benefits in the subsequent games, though. As well as serve as fast travel points, because there's a lot of backtracking that can be done for exploration if you're looking to 100% the game or, explore it casually.
You sound like my father.
And if I'm correct, that's also, and I don't remember if that was the thing also during the, 2013, but I know there was like Dark Souls that also uses that. I know there's some other games that kind of use the mechanic. I think Deadpool kind of uses it instead of, I think actually with Deadpool it just is on fire. But yeah, I think I know we mentioned earlier, so I was curious if that's another connection to the 2013 thing.
Yeah, this game also, as well, going back to that, I know Naughty Dog did it with The Last of Us. They tacked on their factions multiplayer. This game as well had a weird, janky multiplayer added to it as well. There's just something about that time where devs were just following certain themes, I suppose. Alright, so little forced stealth section here, but it's pretty straightforward. We just wait for certain cues on these guys for when it's safe to move, and get to our next little cinematic here. We got ambushed a little bit ago and tied up, which is why we're in this situation. So we're just trying to get ourselves free. This guy's gonna catch us right away here, though. Speaking apparently very poor Russian, I've been told. So poor that in the Russian dub of the game, they re-recorded all the Russian because they're like, this is bad. So I don't speak Russian, so I can't speak to that myself. But yeah, apparently the Russian that they speak is just like very, very poorly spoken Russian. Alright, so now is one of the most important strats in the game. We're going to shoot this guy in the crotch. I'm actually kidding, you don't have to shoot at all there, but it's just it's a thing. Like, you get the opportunity to fire a bullet there, why not? Alright, so a little bit of QTE. We get a bit of a big cutscene here. That's Lara's first time taking human life. It's quite the traumatic experience to her, but, as this is a video game, she shakes it off pretty quick and has no problem going about the rest of the game murdering tons of people. Because, video games. Alright. Now, hopefully we don't get any memes here. Hey, we didn't. The flashlight the one guy drops there has a gigantic hitbox, and going for that second headshot, it is so easy to clip that hitbox, and the guy will just go off and take cover and adds about another 5-10 seconds to your run. So thankfully, we got a clean shot there. And didn't have to worry about it. Again, we're still early in the game, so the game's going to give us a tutorial on silent kills with the bow here. We don't really care. We'll just shoot the guy quickly and be on our way.
I like how the closed captioning has different colors to associate different characters.
Yes, it does. So much so that I got used to it, and because, playing the same games for the same series, it's like, I think Shadow gave you the option. I think it keeps it like this by default in Rise, if I recall correctly, but Shadow gives you the option to have color or just have basic white captions, and I still just chose to go with the colors just because it's like, well, I played 2 games with the colors, so I'm gonna keep the colors.
It's scary just how easy it was. You've got to warn the others, Roth.
Don't worry about them. them right now. You just do
All
whatever it
right.
takes to
So
get
we're gonna
to the
come
tower.
up on our first skip that we actually do in glitchless. I think our first skip. Did I do any skips? No, we didn't do any skips. So we're just gonna get rid of these two guys quickly before they see us, which keeps any more guys from spawning in. Normally we're supposed to head up to my left there and go through this burning temple area, but we're just gonna do an unintended little jump here. So I did a shoulder shove to get her close to the edge and then aimed to inch her a little forward, which just makes the scramble jump a little easier. And how that works is if you normally try to jump there, she's not going to have the distance to make that. But this game prioritizes its animations over its actual physics for a brief second, which is used a lot, obviously, in glitched runs. It's used to clip through walls and that, because you can use those animations to force yourself partway into a door and clip through it, because the game's going to prioritize that animation for a brief second. Here we're using it with what's called a scramble jump. So we use the scramble dodge animation to push her forward off the ledge and then jump from that point. So we're probably, I don't know, say 6 inches, a foot further off the ledge than she realistically should be able to be standing before we do the jump. So we're jumping from a further point off the ledge. Alright, so we just met up with Roth. He was being attacked by a bunch of wolves. He fought them off, but his leg's injured, and he lost his pack somehow in the wolf's cave. It's not really made clear as to why his pack's up in their cave, but it's there. So we're gonna do another skip here, as I'm gonna not get it there, of course. I overcorrected my camera.
So does where your camera at, is that actually how like certain tricks are done based off of how your camera is?
It just makes it a little easier for her to actually do that, because, you know, we're not supposed to be grabbing that ledge, so the camera orientation definitely helps with influencing her to reach for that ledge she's not intended to. So the game actually wanted us to go down to a plane there. We climb up that. There's a dramatic scene of lightning striking like a dead tree, which plays out for a few seconds. The plane falls, we go back over it again and climb up here. So we just skip all that by, you know, jumping on that roof and going up that rope,
That's all.
which is supposed to be an intended way back from the cave, not a way to the cave. I also did a little aim cancel there on an animation. When that wolf spawns as we enter, that wolf is going to startle Lara and she'll stop moving for a second, but by aiming, we're able to just keep moving forward throughout that and not have to slow down at all. So a bunch of QTs, big dramatic fight with kind of funky looking wolf. If you ever look closely at them, they don't really look that great, to be perfectly honest. I think they look a little bit better in the definitive edition versus the original release of the game, but yeah, they don't look that good.
I thought they just wanted to be pet. Just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, I was trying to get some very aggressive cuddles, but, you know, Lara's kind of focused on some other stuff, so she wasn't all about that. She's not much of a dog person, I suppose.
Either that, or if the dog was wanting very aggressive cuddles, we got very aggressive pets.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right, so we bring the pack back to Roth. Had some health supplies. We bandage him up, but he's not really in great shape, and we gotta try to send an SOS message to get off the island. So, okay, Lara. Thank you. So we're gonna go up and try to climb up to this radio tower and call for help. So he gives us a better axe, which allows us to climb rock walls. And we're gonna make our way to this radio tower and see if we can get someone to help get us off the island that we have crashed upon. Alright, we got a few enemies here, but we don't actually have to deal with them, so we're just gonna be on our way. Hope that they don't shoot me down off the wall, which looks like we're okay. Usually once I'm up to this point, we're safe. And I just saw in chat, someone was asking about the PS4 version on PS5 having better loads, and surprisingly not. Like, the loads on this game are actually pretty good on the PS4, given that it was already a remaster of the game. I'm not too sure. I played it originally on 360. I'm not too sure how, I can't remember that far back how the loads were originally on console, on the original release, but yeah, the definitive edition load times are pretty good, so never was much of an issue. I'm sorry, you were about to ask something there.
I was just about to ask that question.
Oh, right. Well, we're covered then. All right,
Yeah.
so we got another little cutscene here. Lara going through Sam's recorder again. Some shots of the people on the Endurance. Alex makes some disturbing comments about Reyes' daughter for some reason. And gives just a bit more background on the some of the characters and how they got here. Lara pushing forward, fighting with Whitman, who is the senior archaeologist, or I'm not too sure exactly what his... I'm pretty sure he's got a PhD. He's an archaeologist or something. But he's believing that Yamatai is in a certain direction that everyone else has already explored anyway and never found it. And Lara's like, well, why would we go where everyone else has not found it? Let's go this way. So the ship captain's all on board, and Roth, of course, has her back as he's a bit of a supportive uncle figure to Lara, being one of her dad's friends. Alright, so again, a bunch of enemies we were able to skip there. And a few more here. So a lot of the main movement I am using are scramble jumps, where we do a slight scramble forward and then a jump. I explained how they can be used to abuse the game's physics a little bit, but on top of that, it's just a very optimal way to move normally throughout the map. I transition to regular jumps whenever I'm near enemies, though, because the scramble is intended as a dodge mechanic, and whenever you do it near an enemy, you don't really have control over the direction that Lara is going to dodge away from an enemy from. So transitioning to regular jumps allows us to have full control over her direction of travel, whereas if we try to scramble too close to an enemy, there's a chance she's just gonna like move backward the way we just came from, or another direction that we don't want her to go. Alright, so now we're into a little forced encounter. Hopefully I can do this clean. Those were clean. Okay, run off to the side. Kurt, please. Okay, run off. Of course I would hit the screen instead. Well, I was a little slow, but we're fine. Alright, so we get to the console for the radio room here, and it's, you know, pretty much useless. It's old, it's falling apart, it's rusted out. It's not gonna serve us much good, so Alex from the boat, who I guess, what I can gather, he's kind of the tech expert of the crew, advises us that there should be a box on the tower itself that we can tap into to transmit from instead of needing to use the console. But we're gonna have to climb way up to get there, so we're gonna press on and go for that tower.
So I saw this in chat about saying how good the console aim is. So, and I asked this when I have these type of games on, do you have like an auto aim, or how hard is it to train to be that good of going off and grabbing it?
I honestly didn't go through that at the beginning of the game. So we chose normal difficulty, and the reason we did that is for these games, it was made as a decision to not allow easy, as easy mode in these games has a built-in lock-on aim assist that cannot be turned off. So to make runs a bit more interesting and as well allow us to actually go for headshots, which I'm completely messing up today. Oh my god. And then you stop moving on me, buddy. Sir, please. Alright, that was a little messy. Ooh, that was not a good time for that shot. And a reload. Okay. Yeah, my aim's I warmed up a little bit before, but, you know, the nerves are a little there.
That's what I get for asking the question when that happens.
Yeah, you know. Hey, let's talk about aim so I can demonstrate how bad my aim is right now. Alright. Where are you? Okay, that was not normal behavior for him. Okay, whatever. Alright. But yeah, we go with normal difficulty for the fact that, you know, we're able to have control over our aim. But I will say, for a console game, this does have some of the best aiming mechanics I have experienced in a console game. Very, very steady, reliable aim mechanics in this game.
What the hell? She's still alive! Get the big gun in here!
Okay, focus.
Not clean. We didn't have to do a second dodge on him.
Yes! Still alive.
No.
I've been playing too many zombie games because I was expecting those enemies to come back up.
Okay, Lara. Well, that's a classic meme for any runners of this series. Lara sometimes just does Lara things. We don't really have an explanation for it. There's just times where Lara just has a mind of her own, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why she ended up going down off the edge there, but she did. We have no explanation for it. Lara just does her own thing. But, yeah, this part is probably one of the hardest parts of the run. Not really, I'm just holding forward. It's a long, long section of holding forward. Again, a section she cannot fall from. There's gonna be a section where there's part of the ladder missing, where she'll jump and stuff. I'm not even doing that. All I'm doing is holding forward, like it's 100% scripted. But back to the fight we just did. There was a couple times where I'm shooting enemies off of zip lines, or there was a spot where I was also just waiting for enemies to start to climb down off of a ledge before shooting them. And the reason I'm doing that is enemies that are in the air, basically, either climbing down or on a zip line in that, we say they have 1 HP. I don't think that's necessarily true, but their ability to survive fall damage is not good if they're shot off of something, and it only takes one shot to cause that fall. So we basically just wait for them to be in those situations, and then it's just an easy one shot on them. They'll fall, and they're dead.
Response system. Please identify your situation.
All right, so we're going to broadcast our SOS. It's successful. Someone actually does hear us. And we just need to light a signal fire for them. Lara is going to come up on a ton of gas here. And, you know, since this is 2013 and gas prices, you know, aren't that crazy at this time, Lara's just going to be like, you know what? A good use for this gas would be several thousand gallons of gas. We're just going to light it on fire and explode it. Let's forget that this would probably, in today's prices, probably be like, I don't know, 20 grand worth of gas at least. All right, so we light our signal fire, the plane comes in, but it gets struck by lightning because somehow in this game's world, planes cannot be struck by lightning. Could you imagine if that was a real thing? Plane gets hit by lightning and it just falls out of the sky?
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
Very scary, yeah.
But yes, the plane gets struck by lightning and ominous voice cracks out at the same time in Japanese and says, "No one leaves." So we're not sure what that's about at this point, but yeah, as soon as that plane is in the area, it just gets knocked down out of the sky.
Maybe it's just invoking the fact that no one are leaves. You know, you're not those little things that are on trees.
Oh, that could be it.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we're fine. It might not be that scary. All right. Again, Lara doing Lara things. Just randomly grabbing a ledge that I wasn't even near. All right, so a little collapsing set piece here. But we got a nice clean straight line through here that it's whatever. We're just gonna bounce our way through it and get to the end. And hopefully time this right, that he's not gonna knock us off the edge. Perfect. Generally, if he knocks you off the edge, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a small little bit of time loss because Lara will grab the edge of that staircase and save herself. She's not going to fall to her death most of the time. But yeah, you'll have to pull her back up and that, so you definitely don't want that. You want to get clean jump around that guy.
Just get back here safe.
All right. On my way.
So maybe I missed this from like a cutscene that we got. The wound at the very beginning of the game, that was somewhat treated, right? Or is that still a problem?
It's not really covered, to be perfectly honest. It's assumed she kind of bandages herself when she rests at a fire, but yeah. Lara's superhuman, I don't know. It's not really covered how she efficiently deals with that wound. Like, I don't recall, I don't think there's a scene of like her stitching up her stomach or anything like that. Like you would think that's a pretty gaping wound too, not just a small one. So we're gonna do a little safety strat, get rid of the far spammy dude there. Technically you can get through this without that, but that guy has potential of spamming us while we're trying to climb at that point, and if your screen goes gray there, you're pretty much done and not getting through this section. The game wants us to use our newly discovered rope arrows to build a rope bridge here, but that takes a few seconds, and her climbing across rope arrows is slow. Lara, can you get a footing, please? Ma'am, thank you. So we're just going to jump across the river off a few rocks instead of using the rope bridge.
Did Laura just float for half a second there?
Oh, yeah. So that's another little thing in the game. When she's falling on a unsteady surface where she can't really get a footing, she kind of goes into this like weird swimming bicycle type animation. If you ever watch one of the glitched runs of the game, that is actually used to abuse the game's physics again and kind of do falling in reverse. They use it to kind of like airwalk up the sides of mountains. So they'll purposefully jump off a ledge into a rock that they're going to force that animation, and they'll just kind of use it to scooter up the collision.
I'm here, Ed. What's your situation?
Wow.
We
Yeah, it's pretty wild. All three of these games, at least in my opinion, have pretty good speed runs, whether you're going with glitched or glitchless. Like, some games, you know, you're going to prefer to watch glitched runs. Some games, glitchless can be more entertaining. But I find with these three games, all the categories on the board are very entertaining runs for a variety of reasons. Alright, so we met up with Roth, and we're gonna go try to find the other pilot from that plane and hope that he maybe has some ways to help us communicate and get us off the island. Because the guy we jumped around on after the set piece there killed one of the pilots. We skipped that cutscene, of course. So the other pilot lit a signal here, and we're gonna go try to find him. And hopefully find our way again off this island that we're stranded on.
Hey, Lara. Roth told us about the plane. Don't worry, there's got to be another
Okay,
way
we got
off
some
this rock,
rare
right?
shenanigans with the bunnies.
Any sign of
Please,
Sam?
please.
And we tracked her to some old Japanese palace.
I had
I
one
don't like
run
the sound of that.
where those
Hey, don't
bunnies,
worry, she's
their
probably
hitboxes
just
collided,
practicing.
and one just like kind of
Terrible liar.
slid and teleported backwards.
Careful in there.
Still one of the most amusing things I've ever had with these runs. It's such a small thing, but I don't know. I'm amused by small things like that. They're the little things that personally I find make doing run after run just all the more entertaining. So again, going to optimal movement, this is one of those spots where Lara's jumps are extremely nerfed, so we're gonna roll through instead. So we find the other pilot, he's severely injured, and Matthias and a bunch of his men are annoyed with us and, you know, all of our shenanigans since we've arrived on the island, and kill him and try to capture Lara. But in the process of capturing Lara, a large creature comes and just completely wrecks his crew. And we end up in the middle of a Cannibal Corpse album cover shoot. Any metal fans will totally get that reference. And I'm sure it's lost on a lot of people, though.
Well, luckily I am a fan of metal, so
Yeah, so yeah,
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm trying to remember what album cover that was.
yeah, we're totally in the middle of a Cannibal Corpse album cover shoot. So
Is it a cover shoot or is it a video shoot?
to be fair, it could be either. I'm not sure.
Yeah. See?
I'm not
yeah.
sure. Did they release many videos that were along the lines of their albums? Like, I know they were in Ace Ventura.
I'd have to actually research that. Now I'm really curious.
All right, so we got 4 heads. Wow. I like to also count the amount of heads that roll down that slope with us. I don't know why. It amuses me. All right, so we got another new weapon to our arsenal. The shotgun, which is going to allow us to get rid of barriers like that. As the game, of course, puts run right in front of our face as a tutorial.
They're looking for me.
And here we're going to unfortunately skip an iconic scene from the game where Lara drops in there and goes, "I hate tombs."
I get it.
Lara Croft the Tomb Raider hates tombs. Alright, and here we're just gonna spawn camp those guys and be on our way.
For those that didn't see what we were just talking about beforehand, in order to, like, I was trying to, like, make things correct. When I was trying to verify the game, I made a typo and put this game as Tom Raider.
Yes.
So now I'm curious on what that game's like.
Well, Tom Raider and Tom Braider are definitely very interesting gentlemen. I think they hang around with Nathan Drake a lot.
So would Tom Brady be like an action-based football game?
It might be. Might be.
Yeah.
Extreme Football League.
Hey, yeah.
Wasn't that actually a thing though? XFL or
Let's
something?
just get Crystal Dynamics and Square on the line and say, hey, we have this idea for a football game with Tom Brady called Tom Brader.
Can't get this thing open. Forget it.
I'm sure they'll be all over that.
Someone get around.
All right. And we're gonna get horrible shots on that guy, apparently. Sir. Oh, okay. That's not good. We're apparently only getting grazing shots, and the game's gonna demonstrate something. If you ever are in gray screen and you're around certain enemy types, you're pretty much insta-killed if they're too close to you. The game just magnetizes you into a execution animation. Okay, with the grazing shots, please game. Thank you. You cannot tell me that those shots were not on the body. The shotgun's a little unreliable at times. Very useful for certain situations, but at the same time, a little unreliable. Alright, so another little quote-unquote puzzle. We're just gonna break some beams and drop a giant bell to break the floor. Harnessing the power of wind. Wind energy. It's the energy source of the future.
Were those hockey players?
I think that got both guys. Lars, side of the line. Thank you. I don't think so. I played a lot of hockey growing up, and I don't recognize them, so...
I just saw a quick glance at something that looked like a hockey mask and a hockey stick. So I was like, wait.
Yeah, there's a big guy there. He's got... It's more like a... I don't know, like a steel welding mask, almost. Is he our first introduction to the Brute? He might be our first introduction to the heavily armored Brute at me. Actually, no, we had him at the, had that enemy type at the, radio tower. And I apologize for any headphone users right now. The audio balance in this part, just that little tunnel, is completely broken. And it doesn't matter which version of the game you're on. It's just a thing. No one knows why. Every runner memes about it. The audio balance is just weird. Really weird there. The game just really wanted you to hear all the explosion sounds and Lara's grunts through that part, apparently. Alright, so that's one of the only checkpoint restarts that we're going to use to actually skip some dialogue, because during that dialogue we normally would be going through a slow walk and wouldn't be able to go through the opening, so we do a little restart checkpoint and it allows us to just progress. Oh my god. Can I hit my shots at some point today? Would be nice. Yes, I apologize, chat. That warning on the volume there was late.
Looks like Chad appreciates it, though.
All right, so we had a conversation with Sam. Matthias and his men are talking about some kind of fire ritual with her, and she's scared, so we're gonna try to get to her and save her. And in the process, we're gonna go through, if anyone watched Conan's Clueless Gamer segments, a very iconic section that you may be familiar with. That's full of all kinds of gruesome death animations. Which, I mean, we should be able to avoid. I'm just gonna close my eyes and hope for the best. Okay, no, actually. But yeah, it's...
I remember seeing that animation.
Yeah. And it can play out like so many points throughout this section. Like, it is so... Playing this game casually when you may not know exactly what the game's expecting of you going through there, it is so easy to end up hitting any one of those points that would put you into one of those animations. And same thing going through these trees, but we have a nice little clean line here where, like, we're pretty much just gonna go off to the left and then just take a nice clean straight line through here. And then more of like, how is Lara not dead and walking fine after all this? No one knows. And she grabs her side again, like, Lara, are you okay?
I'm just worried about all the like shots and medical stuff they have to go through because, you know, all those open wounds with everything around.
Well, don't worry. We're going to go up to this helicopter that she's going to look at here. And there might be some supplies on board. Maybe we'll deal with it then.
Might be some supplies
Oh, good.
on board.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe good.
Yeah. All right, so the game's going to kind of bake us out here that she's like super injured. She like grimaces in pain on every jump and the screen goes gray as if she's almost at death. It's kind of a little bit of a fake out just for dramatic effect. Fortunately, we didn't get... there's a rare thing that can happen here where we maintain normal movement speed. Like, this is what's supposed to happen, obviously. She's treading through rib-deep water and, you know, should be providing resistance and slowing her down, especially since she just fell. But there's a way that she just will retain normal movement speed. It saves like 20 seconds, and I have done so much labbing on it trying to figure it out, and it's still just complete luck whether it occurs. So we're gonna try to get these three guys silently, as I missed that shot. Okay, where are you going, sir? That is not normal.
It's his break.
He normally stops right at the corner there and turns. He doesn't normally just walk off into the distance like that. That was some strange behavior. But yeah.
It was break time for him.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
I had
Afterwards, you know,
I had a run the other day where another guy was just leaning against a post during a combat section and just taking a break. It's like all enemies are supposed to be alerted to Lara, and he's just standing there, just chilling. It's like, again? Dude, I'm on my lunch. But yeah, getting rid of those three guys without getting spotted prevents a spawn of two more guys. If we get the spot, like, we can just run past the other two guys, but there's a chance they'll, like, slash us with a blade as we're trying to get past them, and that puts Lara into a stagger animation, which of course slows you down. So ideally, we get rid of the first three guys without causing an alert. So yeah, during this cutscene, Lara does find some supplies on board. Not much, but she finds a lighter. So we got a Zippo lighter. So we get fire arrows, and she also lights up one of her arrowheads and cauterizes a single wound. She doesn't care about all the rest of the wounds on her body. She just cauterizes one single wound, and she's good to go.
Considering that she fell down so many trees, I think there's probably a little bit more of a concern because with broken bones, sprained ankle, you know, sprained this, you know, all of that. That's also a big concern that apparently, you know, does not seem to be addressed.
Yeah, she's definitely got some concussion issues, which is part of why we explain why she does some of the derpy movements and stuff when we're asking her to do something else sometimes. All right. So we're just going to go through, we're animation locked for the first little bit there. The game's forcing us to engage with the whole fire arrows and being able to explode things with fire arrows now. But as soon as we're able to have full control again, we're just going to get on out of there because we don't actually have to fight that first group of enemies. We do have to fight these ones though. So I'm going to turn around quickly, preemptively burn part of the puzzle away. So we don't have to deal with that after the fact, and then hope that I can, turn my aim on a little bit better.
She's just one girl.
Of course I have to reload.
All right, get around.
Ooh, okay, I thought the one guy got in the way of the shield dude, and I was worried there for a second. Where's this dude? There? Okay. Thank you for spawning. I didn't hit the barrel? Please. Okay. Well, and that's not bad. And that was a little delayed too. Okay, can we not have irregular enemy behavior? Marathon luck. The where the explosion was, where I was first looking there, two guys are supposed to be there, and then where I shot the last guy, yeah, he was in spot. One of the two guys jumped down in the middle. Not normal.
What's going on?
All right. Why all the corpses is a Resident Evil crossover? It most definitely is. That's why we're on right before speedruns from the crypt.
And they do have a Resident Evil game coming
Oh
up.
my god.
They do. All right, and Lara's not gonna jump. That's actually a good thing because we get the infamous Grim glitch when we die there, so we're gonna get a little treat later. Not yet. Not yet, chat. You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait for the
Oh my
surprise.
god. Grim.
Oh, that wasn't a good setup. Okay, we're good. Yeah, this skip's a little tricky. She doesn't get footing on those rocks easily, so... You don't get that first jump fast enough, she's just gonna slide into that piece of metal and instantly die somehow. I don't know how the game figures that's a death, but it is. So right there, we're skipping an entire fight wave. We're gonna skip another one here by just jumping over this fence. We just skipped 2 out of 3 fights of this area. Like the game's intending us to do. Chill for a moment so that guy doesn't annoy me too much. Alright, and we're going to take this to the one fight we have to do. So the ship captain, Grim, is being taken by these gentlemen. So we're trying to go and help him. And again, exploiting the whole zipline thing. Sir, you're in the way of that barrel, thank you.
Oh, there's one way to get to a barrel, though. Just if they don't move, make them move.
Exactly. Now throwing. I have no idea where that dynamite guy went after he threw that. Oh, there he is. This section can be a little irritating in runs because they do tend to take a bunch of cover. Thankfully, we can blow some of it up. I thought you were going to be one of the guys running for the zip line. My bad. You are, though. Okay. The occasional time if they get too close to the ledge, those guys can survive that drop. So, always good to double check that. Alright, and the last guy's running away. There we go. Reasonable enough fight. Not quite to plan, but... Alright, so this guy's gonna come out, try to get us to surrender by holding Grim. Grim's a gruff Scotsman, so he's just gonna headbutt the dude. But unfortunately, when he does that, he falls down off the edge of the platform with the guy and to his death. So we lose.
Oh no!
We lose our ship captain. But don't worry. Grim's right here, and actually in a horrible spot.
Oh.
Yeah, so that death when I was doing the skip causes Grim to just glitch out, and he just chills there for the rest of the game.
Well,
hilariously enough, that's not the only model of Grim that's on the map.
I got her.
There's one that's always there. So from the first fight that we skipped, at the end of it, before the fight starts, Grim's climbing up a ladder. Grim actually stays where he's on that ladder from that cutscene. There's just a model of Grim that's always sitting there. So if you go to the platform and get a look at the bottom side of it, you can see like the edge of Grim's hand clipping through the one side of the platform. And if you get a good enough camera angle, you can actually just see him just hanging on the ladder.
That's great news, Roth. Set up a signal. I'm going.
So yeah, there's two Grims just chilling over there now.
This isn't like the pilot, Roth. I got Sam on the other.
But we will see.
We'll
see that Grim another point in the run later on.
one could say they're brothers, like the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
Great.
And it fits in with some of the dark themes in the game.
It'll be tricky, but you can probably make
Maybe
your way
it's
across
all been planned out this whole time.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
I mean, it's very possible. I would.
I'll be covering you the whole way.
Crystal Dynamics did some good work with these. I didn't think that they were going that deep with it, but damn, they really put some thought into them.
Lara, I've got them in my sight.
Here goes.
All right, so Roth is off in a tower across the way, and he's going to assist us here. Lara, you did not give me my jump.
Father Matthias will send us to the Oni if we don't find it.
So there's a bunch of enemies up on top of this bridge, and Roth's just sitting there with a sniper rifle, and he's going to pick them all off for us as we do some precarious climbing.
I thought I lost you, girl. Are you okay?
Another one of those like quiet sections of the run where it's like it seems tense the first time you play it, but really not. Pretty straightforward section. The only thing we have to worry about is making sure we kind of listen to Roth with the stops. It doesn't actually mean fully stop, it's just whenever he says stop, we cannot move to the next section. Otherwise the game will put you into a kill animation.
Thanks for the cover.
But as soon as Roth clears out the enemies on each of those sections, you're free to move.
This girl's neck! Surrender!
Oh.
And Lara has some of the best grip strength you'll ever see, injured or not. So, that guy falls, but we save ourselves. And hopefully the game's not rude here. It's rare, but you actually can die here, which is honestly not the world's best gameplay design when you don't really have any control as a player. Like, the only thing you can really do there is move forward on a collapsing set piece. And the enemies that are shooting you there are able to actually get good enough RNG to spam you to death while you're trying to get away. Thankfully super rare, but yeah, it's unfortunate that that's a thing where it's like, what else can you do as a player but move forward, and the game's just going to kill you for it.
Is it just me, or am I just always waiting for the moment just to see that? Oh, it actually, I think it just kind of happens where like, it goes underwater, and then I have to ask myself, like Flints don't normally... Fire doesn't normally work underwater.
Yeah, if you actually do roll through water or something with the torch in hand, it will extinguish. The forest scene early on in the game, there was potential for that. I do a scramble jump across a little bit of a creek, and sometimes I'll scramble through the water itself and it'll extinguish the torch. But yeah, here we've got a little ode to the movie The Descent, where Lara's gonna come out of some blood. Very cinematic scene. It may be. In fact, for her sake, I would really hope so. With the amount of open sores and wounds she has, wading through a pool of God knows how many animals and persons' blood that would be was of blood. A little disturbing, a little scary of a thought, but so yeah, I would hope it's Kool-Aid.
Yeah, let's just all just say it's Kool-Aid, and we'll just leave it at that.
Hope to kill you fast.
Oh God.
Some more sections of where rolling is actually going to be the fastest movement we have, because her jumps aren't normal. Jump away from the gas, blow it up. And there's going to be one point later on where we're actually not going to do that. We're actually going to just blow her up with the gas. We can there too. We just don't want to because, of course, she'll get thrown to the ground and we'll have to... Okay, sir. Why am I getting all of the horrible behaviors right now?
You hear something? Stay here. I'll check it out.
Wow, I'm so fortunate to not get an alert. That was, again, very irregular enemy behaviors, so I'm very fortunate to get out of that without alerting anyone. Because if you cause an alert there, you get a spawn of a ton more enemies. Obviously, we wouldn't deal with them. We just reset from checkpoint there, but still a time loss, so you wouldn't want to do that.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about this. It's quiet. I don't think she's down. Maybe we should just leave.
Alright, so we're gonna quietly just get past these guys. And Lara's gonna demonstrate some classic Lara memes. Oh my god, Lara. How does up mean right? Oh, that's not good. Can I get to the top? Wow. That was fortunate.
So according to Laura, up means right.
Yeah.
Does right mean up?
There's some weird stuff like that sometimes with the game. Like, as you saw from the previous jumps, there was no change in input direction whatsoever, and sometimes she'll just decide to start going a different way. Again, any runner from the game will definitely testify to the Lara memes, the Lara derps. I have a command for my chat for Lara, and it basically just full out says, like, look, she has a mind of her own, okay? I can ask her to do things. It's completely up to her whether she wants to.
You have to admit, though, that's incredibly good AI.
It is. Frustrating, but impressive AI.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence to know that you're in a video game, but in reality, you don't want to do what's being told, so you're just going to go the other direction.
Alright, so 3 quick silent kills on those guys prevents a spawn of a 4th. Not a big deal if we get the 4th guy spawning in. Of course, just having to deal with the 4th guy there is a little slower. So yeah, this is the point where we're just going to aim immediately with the fire arrow.
Was the person cheering in the middle of that cutscene Harry Potter?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Okay. This also explains a lot why Laura can can do so much, just because Laura's a wizard. Now I have to figure out what house Laura goes into. I think Slytherin.
I think that would fit.
Yeah, I think Slytherin would fit.
It fits into the whole serpent theme in Shadow as well, so...
Laura, you be careful out. Crap, we're starting to fall.
right, so
I feel like asking chat
what's that? Oh, what house she belongs in?
what house Lara Croft goes into.
All right, so we just saved our friends. There's actually a skip for doing this, but it is extremely finicky.
Then go. I'm going in to get
And if you're not getting it on the first couple of attempts, you're better off just doing the intended puzzle optimally. So we do the intended puzzle optimally. At least on console. PC runners go for it because, you know, you get a little bit more control over Lara's derpy behavior. And I say a little because, you know, it is a whole meme. No matter what platform you're running on, with Lara just doing her own thing sometimes. How did I get that stagger?
Chat says Laura is actually Gryffindor.
Not familiar, to be honest. I'm personally not familiar enough with Harry Potter to be able to have much input on that conversation.
The comment said the reason being it was the stupid amounts of reckless courage. And I have to agree with that.
That would be a fair point.
Yeah.
She definitely is. Actually, we skipped through the cutscene earlier, but there's a point there where they're doing the fire ritual with Sam, and Lara's instinct is to impulsively try to fire an arrow and miss and just alert everyone to her presence and get captured, which is how we ended up in that pool of blood in the first place.
Full of Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, sorry.
Yeah.
So, and during that scene as well, they do the fire ritual, and a big gust of wind actually comes through and puts out the fire, which convinces Matthias that Sam is a perfect candidate to take on the soul of Queen Himiko. Okay, camera shake, please. Of course, that wasn't a headshot. Thank you. You're a little far forward. You survived that, didn't you? Yes, you did. Sir, can we walk in straight lines, please? These dynamite dudes can be a little irritating. They kind of like to play hide and go seek through this section. Even worse is you definitely do not want to let any of them get near you. Okay, I don't know how that first shot wasn't a headshot. Okay, did that other dynamite dude die? Yeah, he did. We should be good. Perfect. Yeah, those dynamite dudes, if you get too close to them, they will just blow themselves up. And I'm gonna...
Well, that's the person that I thought of earlier was hockey. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of those big brood enemies. And they got like plates of steel all over their body and stuff. Kind of weird.
I appreciate Laura just jumping right on top of the light. It's like, no.
Yeah, she's not much for that, the spotlight. Oh, that's, okay, good. That was some unfortunate aim from that enemy. That got me gray fast.
And we entered a cutscene, so it didn't matter. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you can hit the cutscene trigger, you're good. Very rare that that area is an issue during runs, but yeah, there is potential. There is potential that their aim is just going to be on that day, and they'll get you before you can hit the cutscene trigger. A little bit of RNG with that. Okay, why do you have that good of an angle, sir? Get rid of you before I move forward because I'm gray. Gonna have to change up the flow of my strat here. Oh, that's not good. Like I said, those dynamite dudes. He ran forward there, so I had to back off. Otherwise, yeah, he definitely would have lit that up and just blown up right on top of us. And that only got one guy. It's hard to see whether those guys die there, so it's a spot where I actually watch the XP. Each guy is going to be worth 40 XP, so it lets me know how many of the two big guys up top actually died. So yeah, here we, back in the temple there, we freed Sam, but of course, because they're convinced she is the incarnation of Himiko, they definitely want her with their cult shenanigans, and they're going to pursue her. So we're trying to meet back up with her there. Okay, that was a weird animation. Alright, so we're going to skip this cutscene twice, actually. Whoops. Move forward into the checkpoint first. I'm going to restart checkpoint, which is going to despawn all the enemies behind us. It makes the cutscene play out again, but at least when we come out of it, there's no longer a bunch of guys behind us to spam. We only have to worry about the shots coming from in front. Because otherwise, this entire climb, the guys behind would still be shooting at us.
That must be fun casually. Like on your first playthrough and you don't know that.
Like, casually, most people would spend the time to actually kill all the enemies along the way before they even reach that checkpoint. I would be very surprised if a casual player actually chose to run through that entire group of enemies to get to there. I mean, if they did, impressive. All the power to you, going for speedrun strats right off the start. Although with that,
yep,
in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, there's actually one little spot near the beginning of the game. I've seen an impressive amount of people go for a speedrun platforming skip. They just do not see the intended path from the devs, and they just go for what is actually the speedrun skip. Even more impressive when you actually see someone get it, because it's not an easy trick to hit, but...
Any other non-believers?
Early speedrunners in the making just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, they just don't realize it. Like, you're finding skips without even knowing it. Like, just run with it. Just run with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great hobby.
How does she not catch on fire?
And just Lara things. Like, there really is no explanation for a lot of the stuff in the games, other than just Lara things.
Oh wait, she's a wizard. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait! The storms! It's too dangerous!
All right, so we got a bit of an epic climb here. Overall, this should go okay. There's a few spots where, you know, the game can throw some weird stuff at us. And given what I've seen from some of the enemies, well, there might be a chance of that, so let's hold tight. Like on this climb coming up here, some of the debris can actually just like randomly fall into her path and hit her and knock her down. Okay, we're good. It's so far no weird shenanigans from the game. This is another one of those ones where Lara can behave a little erratically on this wall. Alright. So now is going to be the moment of truth. we are coming up on some cutscenes in a rescue helicopter. And in the definitive edition, it is a well-documented crash point. It doesn't matter what platform you're playing on. PC has its own share. They just are at different points of the game. But there's a few common crash points in the game for us on this version. This cutscene. Anytime throughout it. But there is one line specifically that's going to come from the helicopter pilot that if it does crash in this scene, probably 95% of the crashes, actually probably higher than that, occur after one specific line.
Is that just because we're going so fast, or is that something that is just built into the game by accident?
Yeah, it's just something that exists in the game. Casual players encounter it too. And there it is. So. Oh no. So we'll just reload the game and continue. Yeah. Right after that, I barely made it here in one piece. It happens. It's just something that exists for some unknown reason. Earlier in the game, there was a climb we did, a narrow passage climb that we were doing. That for PC players, I know is a very common crash point.
I noticed that with certain other like ports, because I casually play another game that I'm learning to run for soon that has that same issue a couple times by using like a higher above version.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, and it's specifically after that one line from the helicopter pilot. So it's quite the meme in runs. Thankfully, with these speed runs, because the games can be so problematic with crashing, we are allotted a pause of the timer during runs for that crash. So if the game crashes, we're allowed to pause timer and resume time once we return to the crash point.
So if it crashes and you come back, is there a chance it'll crash again and get like this endless crash loop?
I have never seen it. I sure hope I never do. No, it's only ever been one crash. It's either it crashes or it doesn't, and if it crashes, you load back into the game and you're fine. I have had 2 rare instances where it actually did corrupt the save file, though, in the process of the crash.
Oh gosh.
Out of hundreds of attempts, though, it only ever happening twice, I'll take those odds. But just because there is that, like, I don't know, 0.2% chance of that occurring, I actually did prep a save file after these cutscenes right here. I have a save file prepped just in case I was to have a corrupted file if it were to crash there. We would have still been okay to continue. As rare as it was, I'm like, just because I have had it, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I'm prepped for that. But yeah, so there we just bought a bunch of skills that are completely useless. The reason we got them was to get to tier 2 to get a specific skill called Climber's Agility, which is going to increase our movement speed by every time Lara jumps, we can roll through her landing. And it just makes our general movement speed all the faster. And as well, we'll have the benefit of any falls we do, we'll be able to roll out of the landing instead of having a stagger animation. But yeah, we're basically just buying it for the increased general movement speed. So
out of everything that just transpired, we had the people that we were trying to save, we had the people that were in the helicopter,
yes.
With all that, did any of them survive?
Everyone did? Oh my... are you kidding me? You survived that? How? Wow. All right.
It's my fault. I said the word survive.
You did. You did. I'm putting that 100% on you.
Yeah. I accept that.
Yeah, unfortunately, if those guys survive and I don't notice it immediately and kill them fast enough, an alert there causes a spawn of like a ton more enemies in the little bridge area that we were headed to. and a bunch of wolves, and there's just no getting through. So, unfortunately, we have to go back. But yes, everyone survives the crash well other than the helicopter pilot themselves. There we go. That one killed both of those guys. And this guy always survives, but that's not a big deal. There we go. Yeah, so on this bridge that we just crossed, an alert there causes a spawn of like a couple heavy enemies with machine guns and a bunch of wolves, and yeah, you're not getting through you. But yeah, after those cutscenes though, Matthias and a bunch of his men catch up with us after the crash and come to attack, and Roth goes protector mode for Lara and shields her and takes an axe to the back, so Roth dies there.
Oh.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. He was a big mentor for Lara, and Reyes from the ship, the mechanic, never actually got to tell him, but they had a bit of an on and off ongoing love affair, and her daughter was actually his child, which you can find out through some documents in the game. So for both of them, it's kind of a tough loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without the right tools, we might have trouble getting it up and running. Could sure use your help down here.
See what you can do. I'm on my way.
Watch yourself out there.
So yeah, as I was saying about Grim, there he is again. And it's hard to see
hi, Grim.
on the lower platform right near the middle there, you can see like a light spot. That's the other Grim's hand just kind of peeking through.
I can use this rope.
So yeah, there's two Grims just chilling there.
Like I said earlier, the Brothers Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm.
And that's all chat making some Grimm puns earlier. I appreciate that. I'm just not good at making puns.
It's such a hit and miss thing for me. It really is.
Lara, are you
Yeah.
there? Alex
There's
said that
times
you're
where
over
like
now.
I'll just be right up witty on top of it, and then other times there's just like,
I need to tell you something.
I would have never thought of that. It's such a simple pun, but I knew I'd never thought of
I
that.
don't think we can leave this island. Something is keeping us here. I have to go back to the monastery. Are you sure?
And I will
Yes,
say,
Sam. I
don't
need you
forget
keep
to stay
this
hydrated.
yourself.
Hydration is
I'm
important.
going to
It
have
is.
ways
It
to
really
stop
is.
them.
As an ex-athlete, I can attest to that. I have suffered dehydration a few times. Not a fun experience, and we get some amazing hair physics here.
Be careful.
Don't think that's how
Oh.
hair normally works in wind, but yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't have much hair for myself, so I mean,
I mean, I did when I was a kid, so I think I kind of remember.
all of my hair is on the bottom of my head now.
I don't know. Maybe Maxi during his run later tonight can tell us if his hair behaves like that in the wind.
Yeah.
Because that man has quite the luscious locks.
It's too quiet.
We'll have to remember to ask.
I kind of wasted my opportunities with those barrels, but drop. Okay, fine. Don't drop it, Grim. Drop it. Thank you. All right.
And while this fight is kind of going on real fast, I will let chat know that Summer Games Done Quick 2022 on-site volunteer applications are open from now until April the 20th. If you're interested in becoming a camera ops volunteer, probably one of the better ones, or you can volunteer for the other almost as fun positions. Just go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. If you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Cutscene? Cutscene. Laura doing more classic Laura memes. Holding up, but she does like a side-to-side shimmy instead of going up. Because, you know, Laura just needs to ignore input sometimes. And I've only ever had it once, and in all my attempts with this game, I've had a sound glitch with the one guy's laugh in this part, where his laugh just repeated over and over again. This is the most hilarious and epic thing ever. And I was really hoping that the second time I would ever have that happen would have been tonight, but alas, no sound glitch.
Well, this is a glitchless run.
It is. Okay, there. Was actually making a joke with one of the mods recently, like, we should really rename the category to no intended glitches. Because these games, you're never gonna have a glitchless run. There's always something in the game that's just gonna bug out a little on you. Such as Lara, you know, doing the intended mechanic of grabbing that rope on that first attempt. There we go.
I like the water animation they did on the camera. It's very nice and detailed.
It is. Can't remember how good it looks on the original version, but I don't think it's bad. I feel like I would remember that. It would stick out in memory if it was. Because like I said, this version did have a little bit of a facelift. Nothing extreme, but you definitely can tell in some spots.
I think they fixed some of the hair animations from what we saw earlier. Some people in chat were saying, yeah, that's normally how my hair happens. So.
All right. Like I said, it's been a number of years where I've looked like this, so I don't quite remember exactly what it's like to, you know, actually have some hair. Makes me nervous sometimes. Get too high there, she won't actually clip in, like, back on, attached to the wall, so. Alright. So, we return back to the beach. To all our friends. They're trying to repair a boat they found, so we have to go on a little bit of a fetch quest to get some stuff to help repair the boat. So we're doing some of that here. But Reyes, of course, doesn't have really any tools because, you know, we're just on a shipwrecked beach.
Let's get out of here.
So we're going to return this to everyone at the beach and then have to go to the wreck of our original ship and get the rest of our tools, which Alex has taken it upon himself to go on ahead and go try to get those tools himself because, you know, he needs to try to impress Lara for whatever reason.
Lara, the endurance speech on the other side of those cliffs. You can probably use
All right. So we got in that cutscene there. Jonah gave us a brand new bow. which is going to allow us to magically be able to shoot arrows so hard they go into rock walls. And be sturdy enough to support our weight on a rope. Don't ask me how it works, it just works.
Okay, Reyes, I'm getting close to the Endurance. What do you need exactly?
Alex, we were getting worried. I'm gonna need a breaker bar and the rest of my kit. I can't fix this boat without them.
All right, I'm on it.
Lara is heading your way.
Alright, so yeah, as we're getting the radio conversation,
No, I got this.
Alex is deciding to go
Alex.
into all of Matthias's men that are at our shipwreck on his own. Thank you for that, Lara. And my camera spun the wrong way. Wow.
Ooh.
Again, classic Lara derps.
Laura doing what Laura doing best.
Again, Lara, please. I know you need to show off for this, but we not. Alright. Now, I tried to do some testing when I was de-rusting the game. Yes, I de-rusted. It's definitely not showing tonight, but I de-rusted.
Man, look at that. Full rainbow.
And we got it interrupted. Damn. There's some great goofy dialogue there. This guy just completely nerds out about a rainbow. And it's some of the most precious dialogue you'd hear. I tried testing to see if like I moved a little bit more conservatively there, if it would not cause an alert so I could get the dialogue to play out, but apparently it's just RNG whether the alert happens and we get that full dialogue or not, if it's going to get cut off.
Well, now I want to hear the goofy dialogue talking about rainbows as Goofy.
As Goofy. That would be interesting.
You said goofy dialogue, so my mind immediately went to Goofy. Oh, I didn't know they had Goofy in this game.
Yeah, this is actually a Kingdom Hearts crossover.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil crossover.
Talking about the classic rock band Rainbow.
Indeed. I actually saw Dio.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was actually Heaven and Hell, so it was basically Sabbath and Dio. Of course,
Wow,
without Ozzy.
that was probably a really good show.
It was with Megadeth, actually. Quite an enjoyable
That's a
night.
lineup.
That was a lineup. Alright. Now hopefully this goes well so I can, actually like demonstrate some of my contributions to this run. So, back when I was first learning this run, there was a skip for this room. And the old way of going about it was basically you just went immediately for the skip and prayed for the best. Everyone would become alerted to your presence, and everyone in the room would be spamming you simultaneously, and you just basically hope to live. So, with that, it was hard to get through. And if you did get through, there was a chance you would soft lock the game after pulling off the skip anyway, because the rope that we're going to use to get to the ship after this area would just not spawn in, and your game would just be permanently soft locked. So, I came about and decided, well, you know what, I'm just going to create some optimal fight strats and just do all the fights as intended. One of the PC runners, the current record holder, Dee, we did a lot of brainstorming on a bunch of strats. He looked at my fight strats and he's like, well, that gets rid of the guys in the room. And she's not going to grab on the first attempt. He's like, that gets rid of the guys that are going to make doing the skip threatening, and we're still going to skip half the enemies because there's supposed to be a hallway after this that we go into. And it's like, well, we're no longer going to get spammed trying to do the skip, so it makes doing the skip itself easier, and it somehow has solved the soft lock issue as well. So it's kind of a hybrid between my optimal fight strats and the original skip. And 2 attempts is definitely good. I think my record actually,
Alex,
Lara failed grabbing the pole there like 4 times in a row. So I actually got a new best on this split like 4 times in the past week.
Oh, nice.
Just because of like how bad it was in my record.
That is a lovely scenery in the background.
Oh, it is. If you actually do look around, like the guy that's nerding out about a rainbow, there actually is rainbows in the sky too. Like it actually is quite the scenic view if you actually spend time looking around. Okay, let's not spam me. Oh, you have to stagger me out of that. Okay, I think I still got a decent shot on him. Oh, okay. Can we not have perfect aim today? Yeah, we're good. I did get a full shot on him on that first one.
Nice.
I would have needed a third one if it wasn't cleared, like a clear shot on his head, so. Yeah, you don't have to kill the archers there. As soon as you actually get the takedown QTs on the big guy, they just run off into wherever. No one knows where they go. And also that big thing just disappears. Falls through and just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, can't tell you what happens to it. But yeah, we return to our room.
So much has
Do some more reminiscing about all the events. And now we go meet up with Alex and get the tools on what remains of the Endurance, our ship that we crashed in the intro in.
Alex, are you in here?
Come down here. Come on.
Alright, so we got a little bit of a puzzle here, but
Track's blocked.
of course, speedrun things, we know exactly how to solve it and have optimal pathing for it. Except when the rope arrows do not actually register. There we go.
Need a way up there.
Hopefully, Lara gives us our jump and roll. There we go. So normally that's like a 5-second slow crouch walk through that cavity, but spamming jump as you reach the top of the ladder allows her to do a little jump into it, and then we can, because of climber's agility, roll out of our jump and end up right at the prompt at the end of it without actually having to crawl slowly through there.
Alex, I'll have you after them.
And somehow she's able to pull this from this angle, don't ask me how, but allows us to optimally set up to roll straight into a cutscene trigger, and we get a nice little chill time here with an unskippable cutscene. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, this is one of the ones we have to watch in the game. Out of all the cutscenes they could have picked, this is one of the ones they picked. That
Not Harry.
we have to watch this one.
You kill us.
Not Harry.
Not Harry.
No.
We came all this way, and he dies for...
How often does a guy like me get to be a hero?
Come on, give us the camera angle. There we go. A wrench and a screwdriver. Those are the tools that we had to come for. A wrench and a screwdriver.
Doesn't even get a chance to face Voldemort. Poor guy. I mean... Or maybe this is after the fight with Voldemort. It could be. I mean, he looks a lot older.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's a lot older than in any of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't get over the wrench and the screwdriver being the tools that we need to repair this ship. It's like, you could have had it be a tool bag or something, leave it up to our imagination as to what we're fetching. No, you just physically show a basic wrench and screwdriver in his hand. Like, was that necessary?
So we don't see Harry there. So we don't see Harry die. Harry could live. He is a wizard. He could probably just cast a spell and cast it like a bubble over him.
That is true. We don't know.
Although that part of the ship did just collapse into the sea. So...
I mean, can wizards breathe underwater? I'm not up to date on my lore.
Yeah, I'm not that up to date with a lot of the Harry chat. There may be some
Yeah, chat.
there may be someone who has a vast more knowledge of the the Pottermore universe than I.
Really, Lara?
Laura just wanted to save Harry Potter.
That's my checkpoint? Ouch. Ouch, Lara, why you do that to me?
Laura was just like, no, I want to save Harry Potter.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go for a swim, find him. He even made the animation to grab the rope and she just, nah, last second, I'm not gonna do that. There we go.
Chat has officially said there is a thing called gillyweed, which lets individuals breathe underwater in the Harry Potter universe. So Harry Potter is officially fine.
All right, I guess he does live. Good to know. I never knew.
He is the boy who lives.
So we get some logbooks. What do these ones detail again? I think it's some stuff about the rituals with Himiko.
Ancient ruins in the old base. Control
Oh,
over
right.
storms.
Yes, they're talking about because these are World War II bunkers and that that Germany built off the coast of Japan and that. They were looking into like how the storms worked here and that, and whether they could harness it for whatever war purposes. So we find out about some ruins up in the mountains that we can go check out to try to learn more about what's happening here and why these storms occur whenever any plane or ship or anything is near the island and is not allowing anyone to leave. We're gonna go return the tools to Reyes, and Lara's gonna be like, well, we're not just repairing the ship. I need to know more here. Because Lara, unlike everyone else, is convinced that, like, repairing the ship is not gonna really get them anywhere, because as soon as they try to leave, something's gonna happen and sink them, so... Alright, here's a common death point for people playing casually. Earlier on, we were taught to press circle to drop from one rope to another. This is not actually a cutscene, but it plays out like a cutscene. Don't touch the controller, you're fine. Or keyboard, if you're playing on PC. Don't touch anything, you're fine. She'll just automatically drop from rope to rope. If you try to give an input, you can potentially get the intended result, but it is very, very likely she's gonna miss the rope. I have seen so many people die casually there because they, you know, you're taught not too long before this. Oh yeah, you press circle and drop to the next rope. So they try doing that and it doesn't work out.
That's a troll on game design.
It really is.
There's some person in the corner just like snickering.
You gotta wonder when things like that happen. It's like, did someone do this intentionally? Just like, I'm gonna mess with players here.
Yeah.
Lara, that's not left. Thank you. Yes, don't grab the ledge. There we go. So I never
Laura
did
knows.
Explain some of the climbing optimizations there. Lara's climbing animation is actually extremely slow, which we'll demonstrate on this wall because this wall's precarious as hell, so we actually do take it slow and safe on this wall, but her climbing animations are pretty slow. So what we actually do is jump off the wall repetitively and reattach, and as soon as we're reattaching, we're hitting jump at the same time to detach and jump again. which just speeds up her climbing by, I want to say, like 3 times as fast as if you were to, you know, do the intended climbing mechanics. Alright.
That's a steep ladder to jump like that.
Yeah, there's certain ladders in the game where you can use the jump to traverse up them faster for whatever reason. It just works. It's not every ladder. Okay, good. Started to swing away on me, and if it swings a little too far, she won't make that. And it's a weird jumping mechanic too, because you don't want to hold up when you do those ladder jumps, because she'll just continue to go up the ladder. You actually just remove all directional input and just spam the jump button. Hopefully we can get this trick. This is a little weird. Okay, yeah, I got it. Nice. That grenade, you really don't have any control over how it's going to explode when you do that. It sometimes explodes weirdly, like as if it hits an invisible hitbox above the guys' heads. But by doing that, it just gets rid of 2 guys that are there and kills them fast enough that it doesn't cause an alert, which normally would spawn in an additional 2 guys. So it's a nice, like, I don't know, 10-second time save. And this is one of those ladders where we can't jump up for whatever reason. Even though it looks just like the other ladders.
So out of the 3 crystal dynamic Tomb Raiders that are out there, you know the run for all 3, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Which one would you say, if someone wanted to hop in and say, I want to speedrun, which one would be probably the easiest versus the hardest to learn?
I would say probably this one would be the easiest overall. It depends on actually where your skills lie. If you are not strong with combat, Shadow would probably be your better bet. But Shadow has a lot more dynamic platforming and skips in the run with some of the optimizations we had made over the past year. Like we dropped a record in that game by 17 minutes over the past year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, platforming is a bit more of a factor in Shadow runs. This run's pretty straightforward, but it is a lot more combat heavy than, I would say, actually all 3 of the games. Rise has a bunch of combat at the end, which I'm not even going to go into to try and explain and talk about, because Rise is a beast of its own. On top of Lara having a mind of her own, Rise has a mind of its own, and it'll just choose to randomly kill you if it feels like it that day. But up until the end of the game, there's not a lot of combat-heavy sections in Rise, whereas this game's got a good amount of combat sprinkled all throughout the run. But overall, I would say this run's very straightforward. So it's probably the most beginner-friendly. Even if you aren't the strongest on, say, combat and that, you should still be able to, be able to pick the basics of the run up and be able to start executing attempts and just hone your skill over time that way.
To go.
So we got another little puzzle room here, which can strangely be confusing on the first time. I don't know why, myself included. I'm not throwing shade at casual players whatsoever. Like my first time here, even though once you figure it out, it's extremely straightforward, it's just somehow is very confusing when you're approaching it the first time, going wait, how do I do this? Where am I going? You end up raising the elevator up and down several times. It's an odd puzzle to like visualize and wrap your head around when you're doing it the first time. Alright. Here's another one of the risky parts of the run. The first little bit's fine. Getting out of here, we're going to be skipping most of the enemies, and again, with those dynamite dudes I was talking about, I'm not worried about that guy. He'll die with this barrel. Alright. There's going to be one of those dynamite dudes. I'm going to try to get rid of him before we try to leave and reduce the risk of him being an issue. But, you know, we're kind of depending on him being in a certain spot and this grenade actually getting him. It got someone. I don't think it was him, though.
So canonically, how long does this take?
Ooh. Are you talking about, like, real-time in the game world of...
Yes. Like, from the beginning of the game, is it like a couple hours? Is it a couple days? You know, for Laura.
It's a couple days. I'm not sure on the exact count. I'd say somewhere between 2 to 4.
So does Laura stay up the whole time, or micro naps, or?
Well, she does fall asleep at one point where we first meet Matthias and he makes off with Sam while she's asleep. Hey, I managed to keep my jump rolls through there. That's a little challenging. That area we're just going through, the game intends you to slow walk there, and then you end up on a radio conversation which enforces your slow walk. But if with the climber's agility, we're able to jump off the top of the climb and roll out of that, and as long as we keep jump rolling and maintain that movement, we can actually jump roll through that entire thing, and it saves about 10 seconds. As opposed to, you know, doing the intended slow walk. But yeah, there's some sunsets and sunrises throughout the game, so it's definitely over the course of a few days.
Whenever you're ready to go.
I'm just not too sure how many. And there was a little bit of muscle memory for you there. I went to go split.
Lara, what do you expect to find in there?
Do you really want to know?
No, but you should tell me anyway.
There's the soul of an ancient sun queen
so
trapped in a dead
Lara's
body.
cap-
Her rage is what's causing these storms.
Getting everyone caught up on what's happening as we repaired the ship, but we're going to take it inland instead of leave, because Lara has discovered that there's the soul of Queen Himiko is trapped in a decaying body, and they ain't too happy about that. So they used to, way back when, have rituals to pass the soul on to a new body, which, of course, with no humans other than the survivors now that have populated the island, it's not happened. So her soul is in a decaying body, and she's not happy about it, and is just wrecking anyone and everyone that comes near the
My
island.
little bird. This isn't goodbye.
So
I'm not going to say goodbye.
Lara wants to go and destroy the body to release the soul, so that the storms stop and they're able to safely leave without, you know, getting sunk. Which is what Matthias and his cultist Solari group are trying to do. Something similar, but they're trying to actually get someone to put the soul into and appease Himiko, which is why he has taken Sam. And the one guy from our group, Whitman here,
She's still alive.
has bought into it and decided to, instead of, you know, fight with us, just appease to the Solari and give Sam up to them.
People, they guard the monastery. They wait only to be introduced to their new queen by the one who brought her back to us.
Of course.
I've encountered these archaic tribes before.
This is one of the differences we do get between the PC version and this version of the game. This is one cutscene that is actually skippable on their version. A lot of the cutscenes I haven't skipped are unskippable in any version of the game. This one, however, is skippable for them. But we get to watch Whitman suffer a good traitor's death. Well, sort of. Lara covers the actual action of it.
In the meantime, while this cutscene is playing out, I will let chat know that your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support the weekly Hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy this show, or the show that's coming up, or really any of the Hotfix shows, really. So just, you know, you can support all of them. And we do have a highlights channel. It is a way to kind of see the best of all of our Hotfix shows. You can use !highlights command to learn more about the highlights.
Definitely recommend it. There are some amazing Hotfix shows.
I know we have speedruns from the Crypt coming up. We have some amazing ones. Like there's tomorrow we have The First Step. We have Legally Cute every other Friday. We have like Tina's RPG show. I guess we have shows for a wide variety of those who love any type of speedrun.
Definitely. I know speedruns from the Crypt is one of my faves. Oh, I rolled by accident. Are you kidding?
I was going to say, if you want to see all of our if you want to see all of the Hotfix shows, gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. And they start every night at 7 p.m. Eastern, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern.
So yeah, in the previous room, I did a skip where I didn't kill the enemies there. When you do that, it kind of makes this section behave in a certain way where all I can really do is scrambles to move faster up the stairs. Otherwise, I'm gonna get alerted. If I had taken the time to kill all the enemies there, I could safely roll up the stairs and it wouldn't have been an issue. So it's like you trade off one time save for another, basically. The net time save is definitely in the favor of not killing the enemies. Killing the enemies is the slower of the two options. You just have to move slower up the stairs. But I went for another scramble a little too early. She wasn't quite done the animation of the previous scramble, which put her into a roll. Which causes an alert and instant death. Alright, so we have gotten into the fortress here where all of the Queen Storm Guards, so you're talking zombies earlier? Well, I guess these guys kind of would count as zombies. Like, these are the Queen Storm Guard. These guys are centuries old defenders of Queen Himiko. So, like, I don't really know how you would define them, but they're definitely not fully human at this point. And yeah, that Speedruns from the Crypt is on after. No, Maxie's a good friend of mine. He's running tonight.
They got Dino Crisis and RE4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's doing RE4 No Merchant.
Definitely want to stay tuned for that.
All right. This fight is, anyone who's played the game casually can probably attest, this fight is potentially an absolute mess. And it remains true for speedruns. We do have some strats that will hopefully make this a little nicer for us, but yeah, this can potentially be an absolute disaster. I'm not going to get that early kill on that dude.
I don't know what Laura just took to the face, or Laura. I don't know what Laura just took straight to the face, but it surprised it didn't do anything.
I think it was a fire arrow. If I'm trying to remember correctly as to what just happened to her, that should be enough for phase 1 here. Cutscene, thank you. Alright, we're good enough on him. And shout out to one of the other runners from the community, Katarev. He's one of the glitched runners, but this is a fight that does have to be done in any category that you run in this game. He probably has the best Stormguard fight that you can see from any runner of this game. So I definitely borrowed a lot of strat off of him to get this down, because this used to be such a mess in a run. Like, there's times where it would take 4 times as long from run to run. It was just such an inconsistent mess. So watching his runs was definitely an eye-opener of a great way to optimize this fight.
I don't know why, but the fight reminds me of Lord of the Rings for some reason.
That only got one of the archers? What? Rude. Yeah, okay. There. Thank you. Ooh, I'm low. Should be okay. Sir, can you not? And now you're gonna run away.
Hey, you asked. He said, can you not? He said, okay, yeah, I won't. He just walked right off.
Okay, and that was 2 perfect shots. Good climb. Thank you. Alright, this guy should be the last one, which means I'm just gonna take a little detour, get some grenades, and finish him off. Alright. Not too bad. Have a Stormguard fight. But yeah, casually, that all of those guys hit very hard. You cannot withstand too many shots back to back without dying there. So it's basically, you get hit once and you need to scramble and regain color on your screen. Even on a lower difficulty. I've never played this game on easy, so I really can't speak to if it's a little bit more forgiving on easy. But yeah, you got large shield guys, which can take a lot of hits. You got archers spamming you left, right, and center. Every single one of the enemy types can throw Molotovs basically at you. Lara, don't want to balance on the edge there. Thank you. Yeah, there's certain mechanics in the game, like, to work with the platforming. Like, she obviously is meant to be able to land on certain narrow surfaces and whatnot. It's like, when you want her to magnetize to them, she never does. When you don't want her to, she's like, yeah, let me stand on this.
It's like Laura knows she's on the GDQ stage and wants to have a little fun.
Of course. So, another super complicated puzzle. Not really. They do get a lot more elaborate, though, in the next games. Like, right down to the optional tombs, which we don't obviously do in this category. Only Hundo does them. But, they really upped their game with all the elaborate physics-based puzzles in Rise and Shadow.
The Sun Queens.
They're quite impressive, actually. In fact, instead of treating DLC in the traditional way for Shadow, they did their DLC as just more optional tombs. So there's 7 additional elaborate tombs. They each come with like they present in-game as like a side mission if you choose to do them that way. So you can get a little bit of a story beat with them, or you can just do the tune by itself in the main menu. But yeah, they each come with like a little bit of side mission story beat and then additional tune. And honestly, with how impressive they made the tunes in those games, that was a great approach to DLC. It was just to give you more fun tunes to explore.
That is a really good idea I like that idea.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was definitely like, obviously I was a fan of the series and that I pre-ordered that game with the season pass and all that, and it's like definitely did not make me regret that decision whatsoever. I'm like, yeah, these are awesome. Very enjoyable. The tunes in this game are a little simple. Like, there may be the odd one that, you know, first time through, you might just... It's one of those things where it's like, the answer is kind of obvious, but you just don't see it. But when you do see the answer, they don't take long. Like, even the biggest tomb in this game probably only takes about 5 minutes, tops. Alright, so here's another spot where we can potentially get some good Lara memes. This is kind of meant to be scripted, yet the occasional time she just magically will not have enough distance to grab that beam. Thankfully today she did.
Lara, watch out! Those bastards are
But
heading
yeah,
your way.
it's
We
like
did
you have
everything we could
another
to
one of
slow
those
them
spots
down.
where it's like you have no control over the situation. You're just meant to hold forward.
We're not leaving without you. We'll be waiting.
And sometimes she just does not have the distance to actually hit that beam. Don't know why. It's just a thing.
Yeah. Well, that one worked.
Thankfully did.
Yeah.
I mean, it does work more often than it doesn't, but it's like every now and then you'll do a run and it's just like, well, there she drops to her death. Thanks, game. Appreciate it. Right near the end of my run.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the checkpoint's pretty close. Like, it's not a huge time loss when it does occur. Still not a time loss you necessarily want to be having in a run. Ooh, that was a little sketch. It's a little further left than I wanted her.
So in that case, if that did happen, would it be if you're going for like PB attempts or world record attempts, would that be just a complete reset, or would that just be you just still go no matter what?
As you've seen with some of the issues I've had in this run, obviously, you know, marathon luck has played a factor tonight. There's a lot of little things in the run that can act up, go weird on you, so I don't think there's anyone in the game that is that close to their sum of best or anything like that where something like that's gonna really kill your run. Like that one right there is only about 10-second time loss, I want to say.
Okay.
And 10 seconds, like, you can gain or lose 10 seconds at like 50,000 spots in the run.
Yeah, okay.
It's more the bigger deaths, like in the middle of a combat section, that are really gonna kill you, because the checkpoints for those are usually right at the beginning of the combat section. So one of those deaths are gonna lose you like 30 seconds to a minute. Oh, that was a reload. Where did Dynamite Dude go? Did I already get Dynamite Dude and just was not even counting my enemies? I guess so. Oh, I didn't reload my there he is! He's late to the party! That's not good. Okay, none of this is good right now. Okay, I already got rid of his helmet, so he's one shot. Alright, he didn't move forward, thankfully. Because if he moved forward, that would have been an issue while I was trying to deal with the big dude with the shield. Because like I said, those guys can just get up on top of you and blow themselves up, and that's an instant death if they do.
And that doesn't sound like a fun time at all.
No, it really isn't. Especially because that would be right at the end of that phase, and we'd have to repeat that entire phase.
Yeah.
Even worse
Not
is
a fun time indeed.
dying at the end of this phase, because this phase, thanks for that vault animation, this phase starts with this elaborate animation. So you die at the end of this one, you have to watch that every single time. So, yeah, dying in the first one's not horrible, but you definitely do not want to die in this one, because you're going to have to watch that every single time it resets.
Yeah.
And that's several seconds each time, on top of, you know, the time lost from the fight itself. No, that actually wasn't on top of me. Yeah, see, look at this guy's coming running forward, trying to blow himself up.
Yeah.
Lara, thank you for actually aiming. There we go. That's why I picked up those extra grenades. It makes dealing with the last two shield dudes a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get good RNG from them. When they do their little hide shielding animation, there's a chance that they'll turn around backwards and give you their backside. And if you actually hit a grenade on the enemy directly, it instantly blows up. So you get a nice insta-kill. They'll hide from the one grenade, but they'll turn around and expose themselves. And you can just launch the second grenade directly into their back and deal with them there. Oh, what? That should have been the last one. There we go. I went for the prompt when it wasn't there, because I thought that was going to be the last one.
Oop.
Alright, so fast phase 2, we can get him before he's actually composed, and nope, didn't get fast phase 3 strat. There is the ability to potentially actually get an instant prompt on him on the final phase here as well. Magnet animation.
So I take it when the face and the arms turning red, it just basically like a hit, you know, kind of like hitbox tells you can aim there.
Yeah.
Or weak points, that's what I meant to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So his entire backside, and once you get his helmet off, which happens after the second phase, it's his head's completely exposed as well, so. Alright, and now we just got basically a QTE fight to end it. I'm gonna fire a shot just because we can. You actually don't have to shoot there as well. Little QTE here. Little button mash, and then we get a nice throwback for fans of the original games, where Lara takes his pistol and has her own, and we get double pistols to finish him, and time is coming up now.
Nice. GG.
So a little bit of a messy run, but all in all, you know, there were some good sections in there.
It was a great showcase. So if anyone was watching this and they thought to themselves, like, that sounds like a really, really fun game, or the series as a whole looks like fun, where would these individuals go? So if they wanted to get more information about this Tomb Raider or any of the other ones by the company that just came out of my head.
Definitely. So obviously, the SRC is a good place to start, checking out the top runs on the board. But there as well would link you to the Tomb Runner Discord, and there you can find not just the Survivor trilogy, but every one of the Tomb Raider games. All the way, we've got everyone in there for the original games, like Anniversary and all that is in there. And of course, the Survivor timeline. So all of the Tomb runners that are out there are all grouped in that one Discord. Everyone's super helpful. Some of the mods, Limi, Genesis, Probe Stream, Piku Fighter were all very helpful when I was first learning the runs. There's some great runners in there. We got some new runners. Velish was an up-and-coming runner of the glitchless category of this game in PC category. Definitely been very helpful with a lot of people's questions as well. They've already climbed up to second in their rankings there, so very great community. Goes through phases of how many runners are active at a time, but there's always an influx of activity on each one of the categories. And yeah, even if the runners aren't necessarily active running at the time, when someone new comes in with questions, they're very ready to jump in and give them some pointers and help them out with learning the run.
Any other shout out, or anyone else you give, if any other shout outs you'd like to give, like the other runners? I know you gave a lot to other runners during the marathon or during the showcase.
Nothing off the top of my head. I mean, runners like Anthony Caliber, he's a big Last of Us runner, and Maxi Lobes, who's going to be on later. Watch Speedruns from the Crypt coming up. Those were runners that really got me started and got really interested in speedrunning as a hobby. They were the ones that really inspired me to pick up my first speed game and, get my toes wet with a simple speed game at least to see what it's like and venture into other games. What was the time out of curiosity on the run there? It's digging at me. 2:18? Okay. Not bad. Not great. My last D-rust was within a minute of my record, so I was hoping for a little bit of a tighter run today, but, we had to have some marathon luck. Laura needs to show off.
It was still,
like I said,
I still think it was a solid run.
She has a mind of her own. Oh, yeah. It still was a solid run.
Yeah.
All right, and yeah, thank you very much for having me. This was a ton of fun. I was looking forward to it all week long, so thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts you'd like to say?
No, by all means, if you're interested in these runs, come. I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot by saying this because I've been talking about it for like 6 months and I still haven't got to it. But I do plan on doing some glitchless tutorials for the current console routes, which are pretty much the same as the PC routes. A couple variances here and there, but for the most part, it's the exact same route. So I do plan on doing some tutorials for all 3 of the games. Now I'm kind of putting myself on the spot of I actually need to start getting started on those, but it is in my plans for this year. So
that sounds good. I'm probably going to join in for that. Well, again, thank you so much for showcasing that amazing Tomb Raider run.
Thank you.
And like we were all saying throughout this entire run, while the Bargain Bin may be closing its doors for right now, Speedruns from the Crypt is coming up next. We got Dino Crisis, we got Resident Evil 4, if my memory serves me correct. So we have plenty of other great runs coming up for the remainder of the night. Stay tuned while we go ahead and get all that taken care of. This is a great time to get up, stretch, use the restroom, go get some more water and hydrate. And stay tuned because Speedruns from the Crypt is next.